It's been raining for over a week now. And I had a small suspicion that it might be flooded down here, but looking at the water marks on the riverbank, I don't think it made it high enough to come over the banks here, at least not deeper than a foot or so. But right now, I see no standing water. I think I'm in the clear. Yes, because when it was flooded a few years ago, the water was higher than the branch on that middle tree that sticks out to the right there. Not completely over the top of it, but up to the joint at least, if not higher than the joint, if I remember correctly. I'd have to look back in the video, but in that video of the flood, I stood exactly right here on this clump of bricks, and I filmed down into there, and it looks to me as if it's okay. So I don't see water, and I'm very pleased about that, because I thought maybe my whole snake mound and my new mound would be destroyed. Well, this morning I brought out some lentils. I'll spread some of these around on the snake mound. Yeah, the river's really moving. Wouldn't want to fall in there right now. And it is cold, cold water, I am sure. But you can see there's lots of debris flowing down from upriver where there are no dikes up higher, so the water can spread out wider and go through the trees and rip the stuff out of the floodplain and tear it down the river with it. So yeah, it's probably 4 feet below the edge of this, and if I judge by eye level here, the place where the water is right there is equivalent to about halfway up my first mound in there. So when the water does come up over the side of these banks, it fills in this whole area here, because this is a low spot. And I think the water wouldn't be right here on this part, but it would definitely be at the foot of this part of this new one. It's the 9th of May. Don't see any pumpkins growing yet. I'm not sure if they weren't all scavenged by birds and mice yet. It did dig out a lot on this side. You can see where they've been scratching. I planted a lot of pumpkins in this area. Mustard's starting to come up pretty well, and some of the other stuff I threw on here. I do believe some of that little tiny stuff on top is amaranth. And here and there I see a few flax seeds sprouting up pretty well. The front side of this mound has also sprouted up an awful lot. All of this is weeds on the bottom. Then you can see my 3 potatoes right there growing pretty well. And so that means I need to come in here and thin out some of this. This is the Himalayan balsam on the bottom that will grow 12 feet high and have those seeds. And I should thin it out here this morning a bit, because it's choking out my other plants. So even if I had a pumpkin growing in there, I don't think I'd see it right now. I did plant a few in that area, and I planted a few seeds back here, all the way back around the corner. I've got a full day's worth of weeding to do, although today is not the day, because I'm not going to be here for very long. I did a rough weeding on this patch right here in front of these potato plants, because I want them to be able to reach the sun. They'll have hard enough time with the mustard around them. In doing so, I've uncovered a couple of the onions I planted earlier, and here's a Jerusalem artichoke, here's a Jerusalem artichoke. So 2 Jerusalem artichoke have come up even after the pigs chewed up this entire front. They did not get all the roots, and there's more volunteers just as always. So I wasn't worried if the pigs actually destroyed them from this area because it's the front of the garden. I didn't want it to block too much sunlight, but if they're growing, I'm going to let them stay. So it took a little bit of work to go through there without ripping everything out, and I selectively have been going in and plucking out one stem at a time and throwing it back here. Hopefully some of them will just rot there. Some of them will re-root, because that's what these things do, but the majority of them will rot, and that's what I want. You can see the definite line of where I have been weeding and where I haven't. Should be obvious. Found one more potato plant here. So I weeded selectively around it, left the mustard. I really think underneath here there's still some amaranth sprouts growing, so that's a good sign. They haven't been eaten up by slugs completely. So that's really good. I see what looks like 1, 2, 3 coming around this way. 4 potato plants. I think I planted 8 on here. I'm sure if I weeded a little bit I'd see some more, but yeah, I see. 4 anyway. And I still don't see any single sign of a pumpkin growing. It's been so cold and wet, I don't know, maybe some of them rotted. I just don't think that's possible though. Okay, so I've started moving some of this compost pile over here to be in the sunlight more, because the other part of it that's over here under the tree really never got sunlight, never heated up enough, I don't think, so I decided to start moving it and all my other leaf piles over here. Got a good start on it this morning. Considering that I can hardly ever get anything to grow back here, and I don't know why. It's odd, it's got good sunlight, but it's too far back in the garden and it doesn't get sunlight the full day. I can get Jerusalem artichokes to grow back here, however, and so that's my plan today, is to plant some of these. I've got a whole package of them, topinambur. There's not much back there I can block off from inside, but outside I have 2 hazelnut bushes I don't want to block out of the sun, so from the inside I only want to go from about this stake down and over to the other stake. I'll plant about 6 inside and about 6 in the very back. there are the two compost piles. Eventually this closer one will be moved over there. And I've been moving things back and forth, and I'm just about on my way out, and I just spotted this little guy. Doesn't look like he made it. Poor thing. Must have happened recently. So I don't know if you can really see that very well, but that's a dead bat. So, oh well. Poor little guy. Well, fare thee well, my friend. You were probably a good bat.